Interested in starting a deer farm and don't have the capital to purchase animals? Well, head over to deerandwildlifestories.com and click the Startup tab to learn more.
The whitetail deer is America's favorite big game animal, and whitetail deer farming is the fastest growing segment in the American agriculture industry. Our program's mission is to dive into the world of deer farming and discover why tens of thousands of Americans compete to create the biggest bucks in the world. And by the biggest bucks, we don't just mean the size of the antlers. The financial investment opportunities produced even on small parcels of rural land will blow you away. Join me as we discover how whitetail genetics, deer auctions, animal husbandry, and so much more drive the deer farming industry. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories.
Come on now, come on now. Well, that does it for the show today, folks, and Jade and I are heading to Texas to MVP Whitetails.
Man, I don't think it's gonna take us too long, do you?
I don't know. All you needed was a hat. You'd have looked perfect for this part.
Yeah.
Well, the buggy didn't quite work out, but that's okay. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the show into MVP Whitetails just outside of Kaufman, Texas. And we're going to introduce you to what could be the nicest guy in the deer business.
I've been deer breeding for 5 years, but deer born in our pens has been 3 years. My name is Jade Webster with MVP Whitetails. We're located in Kaufman, Texas, about an hour east of downtown Dallas. We have about 388 deer, along with 200 fawns born this year.
All right, so I want to tell you, this is the very first time I've been to MVP Whitetails, and before we turn the camera around and show you these one-year-olds, I want to tell you, I have been to deer farms all over the country, and I've never seen yearlings like what you're about to see. Take a look at this. These guys are absolutely over the top. I mean, I'm going, words can't describe how beautiful they are.
Appreciate it.
No, I cannot believe what I'm looking at. And this is the very first time I've been here. I mean, I've heard people talking about it. I mean, I'm looking at them and think, you know, that's my favorite. No, that one's my favorite. I mean, look at the frame on this guy right here. I mean, they are some beautiful bucks, but okay. And so I'm trying to look through here and go, okay, which one is supreme? Because they're all giant, okay? I mean, seriously, you're gonna hold that and make me try to figure out which one is supreme. Okay, I don't know. Seriously, I mean, I think these are all yearlings.
Yes, sir.
Folks, see what I'm talking about? I mean, it's like, he's so modest. I'm telling you, what happened is every one of these born here?
Everyone.
You got their mom. So
probably every mom.
You got every mom.
I would say yes.
And every one of them clearly is in the North American Deer Registry.
Yes, sir.
I mean, genetics play how big of a role in you breeding?
100% at MVP Whitetails.
Okay, hear that? 100%. Okay, so if somebody had a gigantic deer and he didn't have a pedigree, what would you do? Would you pass?
I would tell him he looks really good.
There you go. But these look phenomenal, and I'm still trying to pick out which one Supreme is. Is that him right there? He's got like a little mark, it looks like, on the side of his jaw. Holy smokes.
That's him.
That's him? I can see why everybody in the country is talking about him. Now, as you look at that deer, it's important to point out his mom, okay? Jade wound up, he hadn't been breeding deer very long, okay? Now look at this deer and listen to what happened, how he got him. He bought his mother, okay? And this was like the very first deer he bought, okay? Tell him how much you paid.
$140,000 as a fawn.
And he's a smart man. Clearly, he made a good purchase. But you take a look at that. Now, we were up at the annual Indiana picnic together just the other day, and literally everybody up there is talking about Major League for sure, because I mean you had Major League a display up there and all, but they're talking about Supreme, and I can see now why. And what happens is in their business, you can buy semen. And the northern breeders were just hounding you like crazy. Tell them what happened to semen sales up north.
We allocated 25 straws for the north, and within a day and a half, we sold all 25 out.
Yeah.
And I just feel really humbled and blessed. Those guys support us, amazingly, and it's just really nice of them.
Well, these deer, they're phenomenal. These are all yearlings. I mean, look how wide that guy is. I mean, Supreme, he's a stud. But I got to ask you this, okay? Because in just about anybody's pen, almost any of these would be breeders. They really would, because they've just got the right blood. But what are you gonna do with them? Seriously, what are you gonna do with all these guys?
We're gonna let them grow to 2 and see how they look at 2.
And because what happened, Major League was nice at 1, and at 2 he blew up, and that's when all of a sudden you realized you had the daddy on your hands.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you're looking at here in this pen of yearlings, okay, yeah, Supreme is awesome, and head and shoulders, everybody in the country wants to breed with him. But the whole deal is next year, any of these guys could be in the #1 spot.
They could be.
Because they're genetically geared to put it on it too. So it was August when we were filming the bucks for the show, and they weren't done growing yet. Then, so I asked Jade, I said, please send me pictures of some of these yearling bucks so we can take a look at them after they've grown out all the way. And take a look at him. You just can't believe how many giant yearlings he has. Coming up after the break, we'll be back at MVP Whitetails, and this time we'll be showing you some incredible 2-year-olds. The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by New Dart, leading the industry in accuracy. Now it's time for one of our frequently asked questions. All right, so this is a big, non-typical buck. Clearly, he's a 3-year-old. He's 40 inches wide. And I love typical deer, okay? But here's a little tip for you. There's a lot of people in the deer breeding business that realize that in order to grow big, framey, typical deer, you need to have some big bone-pushing, non-typical deer behind them. And what I mean by that is a deer like this, a big, framey, non-typical buck, can be the genetics behind a typical doe to really push that typical doe to put a bigger frame out. And certainly he's gonna probably have some extra kickers and stickers, but he's not gonna be all gnarly like this. So the way that a lot of people wind up pushing genetics, they'll get clean, typical does, they'll put a great big, non-typical framey buck on them, and that's the way that they do it. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Head on over to deerandwildlifestories.com and hit the FAQ tab where we've got tons of answers to questions. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Coming up after the break, we'll have more big bucks. They're all 2-year-olds, come on.
Every deer in here is 2, yes, sir.
Seriously? Okay, so I don't know how many 2-year-olds are in here, but I mean, across the board, these things are phenomenal. And all born here?
All born here.
Okay. Well, they like getting underneath that shade, don't they?
It's hot.
Yeah, look at that. That's just beautiful. All right, so let's talk about pedigrees on these guys, okay? And I mean, for those of you at home that don't, you're not deer breeders or whatever, these pedigrees, when Jade mentions the names of these deer, it's gonna be like, these are like the Heisman Trophy winners in a deer herd, okay? I just want you to know. So, like that deer right there, who's he out of?
So he's a horsepower, triple crown, easy does it opal, and everybody knows who that opal is on the bottom.
Yeah.
And we actually sold him as a breeder to a really good family. Kaiser Creek Ranch Whitetails bought him, and we'll be moving him to his ranch. He just started off with 10 does, and to help him improve and cover his bucks and breed with that semen.
Okay.
And we're gonna retain some semen ourselves because
So-
we think that much of him.
Okay, this is the thing. Jade's got so many fantastic pedigrees and fantastic deer that literally other deer breeders come to him and they're buying these deer, and then you participate, like you said, you're keeping semen out of him?
Yes, sir.
I think that's so cool. And that's the whole deal. Jade is the kind of guy that when you do business with him, he's gonna help you out. I mean, he's gonna stand behind you and help you out. I can put it this way, if you've ever gone to a deer auction, you go in there, it can be very intimidating because you don't know anybody and all that. Well, if you go to a deer auction, you got this guy there, when you leave, you're gonna know this guy because he's gonna walk up to you, hey, how you doing? You know, it's just like, That's the way you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's the reason why I'm so proud of you. It's like we need more people like you in our industry. This is awesome. We need more of this. I mean, these 2-year-olds are incredible. So describe your typical customer to the viewer. Who would it be?
Our typical customer is really, we try to be really diversified, but it starts with people that are wanting elite does that have proven production and hold their value and have produced great sires. We do pasture bucks, pasture does, to help the genetics in people's big, large pastures. We are really diversified. We do everything. Breeder bucks, breeder does, those type things.
So these deer, these 2-year-olds, they're not grown all the way. I want you to know that. These guys, they got a lot of growing to do, as a matter of fact. But as you can see right now, they're gonna all be big. They're big. So, but some of these are gonna wind up in somebody's pasture somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you may think, why? Well, take a look at them. That's the reason why. They want the genetics. Those genetics should go in that pasture and bring genetic diversity to improve the quality of the deer that are already there. And it also improves the property value and the experience for everybody down the road. So if somebody wants more information to come out here to MVP Whitetails, give them a telephone number.
214-683-9906.
Okay, we're gonna take a break now, and when we come back, we're gonna show you a buck that literally everybody in the country wishes they had some of his offspring in the pen, and his name is Major League. Okay, so you've got property and you're wanting to build, maybe a barn dominium, maybe deer facilities, or maybe a badass lodge. Well, you've got to check out Rafter P Construction, the leading design build contractor across the state of Texas. Specializing in quality farm and ranch projects, Rafter P Construction encourages their customers to be very hands-on. Rafter P Construction will be with you every step of the way to make your one-of-a-kind build a reality. Interested in starting a deer farm and don't have the capital to purchase animals? Well, head over to deerandwildlifestories.com and click the Startup tab to learn more. You'd have to be living under a rock if you haven't seen this deer in the deer industry. I mean, but this is the first time I've seen him in person. That right there, folks, is Major League. What a giant.
Thank you.
You got to be so proud of what you have done.
Very proud.
I mean, I'm proud for you. I mean, it's like I'm proud of you and I'm proud for you. I mean, you've done phenomenal. You know, the cool thing about this is when I look at a deer like that, Major League, you didn't go out and buy him, did you?
No, sir.
You started right here.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you had a vision, and that vision, okay, for years that we've been doing Deer and Wildlife Story Show, I tell people that if you're going to get in the deer breeding business, you need to develop, this is a business, okay? And I want to stress that. I mean, a lot of people get into it as a hobby, and that's cool too. But if you're going to do it as a business and you want to grow a deer like that, that is no accident, okay? Tell them how many years of research you did before you bought your first deer.
We did 2 years. We went to a deer auction, and actually we purchased 2 deer just because we got excited and wanted to buy 2 deer. We kept them at other ranches, and then about 2 full years of researching pedigrees before we went and really started buying up does.
Okay, and so, you know, all this video, all this, we're gonna give you some great information now that you need to kind of take in, but we're gonna be rolling footage of Major League because we want you to see him at every angle. Like, look at that angle right there. It's awesome. He doesn't have a bad angle. And so, you know, we're gonna show you the certificate, the NADAR certificate, okay, on Major League. And you're gonna see that he is super stacked. I mean, it's unbelievable. But the deer that we're gonna show you out here, these have all been born here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, they're not bought and brought in. There's nothing wrong with buying and bringing deer in. That's what most people wind up doing, and you bought your first deer.
Yes, sir.
But all these right here, you've only been doing it for, really, you only have 3 crops that you've had.
3 years in our pens. Our first, 2017 were our first set of fawns.
So he was in the first set of fawns.
He was.
How big do you think he is this year?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. He's just a bigger, better version of his 2-year-old, and we couldn't ask for anything more. I wouldn't change a thing about him.
What I like about him is that he's got the look that everybody's looking for. You know, there's a lot of big deer out there on the market. There are, but I'm gonna tell you something. This man right here, okay, he believes in customer service, just like any good businessman. And customer service to me is so critical, whether you're selling hamburgers or whether you're selling deer. It doesn't matter. Your customer should be the most important thing to you and making sure that they're happy. And in the deer industry, that couldn't be any more important. You have to deal with somebody that provides good customer service. And the thing that I've noticed in hanging out with you, Jade is a hands-on guy, okay? And his family, they're hands-on. They're out here, they're pouring buckets of feed, and they're getting ice out of the cooler, and they're hands-on. They're not just deer farm owners that from afar and let somebody else do it. And so when you deal with somebody like Jade, you're getting more than just a great deer and a great pedigree. You're getting somebody that's going to stand behind that deer and back it up. And that's really important because there are people in the deer industry that come in the deer industry, they see all this money, they see major leagues, say, oh man, how much? And there's a lot of guys just write a check for it, okay? And they write a check for it, and then all of a sudden they realize that they don't have anybody to back them up. You don't do that, do you?
No, sir. Can't do that. It's not the reputation we want.
Yeah, the reputation that Jade Webster has throughout the industry is, number one, he is a great guy, and number two, he has great deer. And so if you want to come out here and you want to see what he's got at MVP Whitetails, and you want to see Major League up close and personal just like this, give him a telephone number.
214-683-9906.
And you can follow MVP Whitetails. I mean, he does a lot of stuff on digital media. You can follow him on Facebook and stuff, but I'm telling you, he's got some phenomenal deer here. He's got an incredible facility, and the staff is over the top. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna break away. The guys are up at the barn right now. They're setting up for the TDA regional meeting, and we get back from the break, we're gonna check in and see who shows up. What do you say?
Sounds good.
The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds.
Hey guys, this is Ron with LE Fence. Right now, we just built 2 new braces in an existing fence line. We're gonna put a gate in here so that on this new deer pin, we can now flush deer out of this portion of the deer pin that we just cut in half. What we got going on right now is Ulmer, he's cutting the vertical stays off of the net wire and pulling the knots off so that we have some material to wrap around the pipe and tie the fence off to the pipe. If we do it in this fashion, we do not have to re-stretch the net wire. We don't just cut the net wire up and then it fall over. We're just trying to save time and be efficient with what we're doing. That way we can keep the same integrity that we had with the existing fence. So all he's doing now is when he comes around the pipe, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap around that wire, pull it up, and then he's just gonna wrap it around 4 or 5 times, get a real tight pull on it. That way the fence is pulled nice and tight, nothing's gonna pull it down.
If you like what you're seeing on today's show, make sure and check us out online on the Deer Farming Channel.
Jade has to be one of the most energetic guys I've ever seen. Every time you look at him, boop, 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 he's up and around, he's doing things, he's got a smile on his face, and people love him. And I'm thinking, why? Because Jade Webster is a giver. Okay, and what I mean by that, for example, today, they've got the TDA meeting is gonna be here, and there's gonna be a bunch of big shots come in here, and Jade does this for nothing. He just opens up his place, and they work their tails off to make sure every single thing is perfect. You know, you'll see Jade putting ice in a cooler, you'll see him setting up chairs and getting everything right, because everything done at MVP Whitetails is gonna be done to Jade Webster's satisfaction. It's perfect.
All right, today at 4 o'clock, we're having a TDA region meeting. It gets everybody in the deer business together, and we go over legislative issues and nominations for president, vice president. We all have a great time. We show each other our bucks, and it's real exciting. Then right before the evening time, so that dark area, we go look at the bucks, and just a really good time.
Hi, my name is Patrick Tarleton. I'm the Executive Director of the Texas Deer Association. Today we're here at our annual region meeting for Region 5 at MVP Whitetails with Jade Webster and his family. In attendance, we have breeders from all over the state. This is our time to get together, share ideas, and share our commitment to deer. It's a fun event that has the whole family involved. We serve a dinner and we have some good conversations about issues affecting all of us.
My name is Pete Moore. I'm with Cypress Ridge Whitetails, and we're happy to be partners with MVP and the Webster family on Major League and Supreme, 2 phenomenal bucks that we're very excited to be a partner with. One of the reasons also that I chose as an owner to partner with the Webster family and Jade in particular is because of his character. We've always tried to operate our business under integrity, customer service, honesty, and that is exactly what Jade and his family deliver with MVP.
We highly recommend farm tours and encourage it. Anybody is welcome to call me, send me a text, and we'll set up a farm tour, show you our facilities, show you our bucks, show you our does, show you our fawns, and really find out what your game plan and goals are and help you design a plan that'll make you successful.
I'm encouraged to see the success that Jade's had here and take a look at his deer and get to know his family and spending time with the staff. I mean, it's very encouraging to see that somebody can get in the deer breeding business in today's market and do as well as they have here. Jade is involved. He's involved not just in the deer farm here with literally hands-on every aspect of the operation. Well, he's involved with the deer industry in general. What I mean by that, not just here in Texas with the Deer Breeders Corporation or the Texas Deer Association, he's involved with deer breeder associations all over the country. And that's what kind of guy he is. He wants to stay involved and right there with his customers. I think the entire deer industry should be grateful, and grateful to MVP Whitetails and to the Jade Webster family for participating in the deer industry. And the reason why I say that is that Jade and his family have raised the bar when it comes to not just the biggest deer that they grow, but it's the best customer service that they offer, and it's the companionship, the camaraderie, the love and the genuine passion that they have for the industry. It's encouraging to see that. And anybody, if you're out there and you're interested in deer farming and you want to learn more about MVP Whitetails, I couldn't encourage you to call Jade Webster highly enough. Hey there, make sure and subscribe to the Deer Farming channel by hitting the subscribe button right now. Brought to you by Rafter Construction, the leading design build contractor in North Texas for farms and ranches. Go to rafterpconstruction.com for your dream build.